The cosmos just delivered a piece of evidence that redefines our place in the universe. But for months, NASA kept the best pictures locked away. Why the delay? What exactly were they so afraid of showing the public? We're talking about 3-Ike Atlas, Leuchtturm, the third confirmed visitor from deep interstellar space, an object that refuses to play by our cosmic rules. This isn't just a fuzzy ball of ice, despite what you heard on the news. It's a true time capsule from an alien solar system, and the story it tells is deeply unsettling. Today, we're finally looking at the delayed images, the real pictures that have been sitting on classified servers while the official narrative was carefully managed. These aren't just snapshots. They are forensic evidence of something astonishing, something that scientists tried desperately to explain away. The official word was a sigh of relief. It's a comet. Case closed. But you and I know that in science, the most satisfying answer is often the one that's least true. These newly released photos confirm a series of anomalies so profound, so geometrically impossible for a natural object, it makes you question everything we thought we knew about star formation. We are about to look at the photos that confirm the existence of forbidden geometry in space. Get ready because the data blackout is over and the truth about this cosmic visitor is about to be exposed. The time for caution is finished. The time for staring directly into the anomaly has begun. Think about it. The Atlas object is zipping through our system, a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and the most crucial images are suddenly held back. Why would the agency responsible for transparency choose to withhold the most fascinating photos? This wasn't a technical glitch, it was a choice, a calculated scientific and political decision. The lag was rooted in an intense internal conflict over interpretation, an invisible war waged in peer-reviewed journals and private committee meetings. The problem wasn't the picture quality, but what the pictures proved. The Comet faction wanted consensus and calm, needing time to craft an acceptable explanation for the inexplicable features the images showed. Meanwhile, the anomaly camp, led by figures like Avi Loeb, was pushing for a radical reevaluation, demanding transparency about the non-natural features. This delay was a scientific scramble to fit a triangular peg, the Atlas object, into a round hole, our established cometary physics model. They were trying to normalize the abnormal, to find a standard physical process that could account for things like a perfect 90-degree jet angle. When an object behaves so utterly outside the norm, you can't just release the images and say, figure it out. You need a narrative to prevent the conversation from immediately jumping to artificiality. We need to remember that data is never neutral. It is always presented through a filter, and the length of this delay tells us just how powerful the implications truly are. This manufactured pause is the first piece of evidence we should analyze. It's the institutional panic that proves the object's true nature. When these images were finally released, the very first thing they confirmed was not the comet's fuzzy glow, but its sheer, unsettling speed. We already knew 3I Atlas was interstellar due to its hyperbolic trajectory, but the detailed tracking confirmed something more sinister: non-gravitational acceleration. This is the first cosmic trigger. It means something other than the sun's gravity and pressure is influencing its speed. Standard comets experience slight pushes from outgassing jets, but this was different, consistent, and required an almost constant, sustained force. The released images, taken over long periods, show this deviation in its orbital track with undeniable clarity. Why would a fragmented, fragile, icy rock maintain a non-gravitational push over such distances? This behavior echoes the most controversial interstellar object, Oumuamua, which also accelerated with no visible outgassing. While 3I Atlas does outgas, the thrust doesn't line up with the observed material release. It suggests an internal mechanism is at play, a hidden force capable of sustained propulsion, and the new imagery provides definitive visual confirmation of the phenomenon. This isn't just a slight push, it's the velocity shock wave proving this object is defying fundamental orbital dynamics. If gravity isn't fully in charge, what is? That's the core question these images force us to confront. Let's move from motion to matter. The spectroscopic data captured in these delayed images confirms an utterly alien composition that fundamentally breaks our understanding of how star systems form. We are talking about the ratio of elements, the building blocks of this object. In our solar system, iron and nickel are like two inseparable brothers. They condense together in almost every natural, undifferentiated body. But the new 3-eye atlas images show a high concentration of nickel with a strikingly low signature of iron in its outgassed material. How do you explain a rock that has one brother but not the other? It means the stellar nursery where 3-eye atlas was born had a vastly different chemistry than ours, one that allowed for unique elemental segregation. The standard model for planet formation requires these elements to mingle, yet here they are, separated. This isn't just a minor difference. It's a profound challenge to the homogeneity of galactic material. It forces us to acknowledge that the materials that created our stable, life-bearing Earth might be an incredibly rare cosmic accident. The simple presence of this unbalanced chemical signature is a greater scientific revelation than finding a fuzzy tail. It's the moment we realize we are not made of the same stuff as our neighbors. Now we get to the crown jewel of the released data, the visual anomaly that truly terrified the sensors, the perfectly straight perpendicular jet arc. The high-resolution stacked images from the new release show two thin, laser straight lines of material shooting hundreds of thousands of kilometers out from the nucleus. Crucially, they are at a near-perfect right angle to the direction of the Sun, defying the physics of solar pressure and rotation. A spinning, outgassing comet should create curved, spiral, or chaotic jets, like water from a lawn sprinkler. It should never ever produce lines of this purity and geometric precision. The straightness implies an almost instantaneous high-velocity ejection that the object's rotation cannot bend. The perfect perpendicular angle implies an emission that is either being actively controlled or is emerging from a structurally symmetrical object, not a chaotic rock. This isn't a blurry visual trick. This is undeniable geometry. It's the kind of precision we associate with engineering, not with planetary debris. This picture is the undeniable evidence that the object is not just a comet, but something far more robust, far more ordered. This single image alone is the smoking gun against the official NASA classification. The significance of 3I Atlas cannot be understood in isolation. It must be viewed in the context of its famous predecessor, Oumuamua. The delayed images confirm the same critical pattern. When an object visits us from outside, it doesn't fit our rules. Oumuamua accelerated, but had no visible gas cloud. 3I Atlas accelerates and has bizarre jets and chemistry. They are both interstellar, they both defy basic cometary physics, and they both point to a consistent non-conformity in the galaxy. We are now 3 for 3. Oumuamua 2I Borisov with its own chemical oddities, and now 3I Atlas. This isn't a coincidence, it's a trend. It indicates that the basic architecture and building materials of other solar systems are fundamentally different from ours. The collective data from these 3 visitors suggests that the chaotic yet predictable processes of star formation in our own neighborhood might actually be the rare exception. The sheer diversity of anomalies, from a flying pancake to a chemically impossible rock, proves our models are incomplete. The images released by NASA today don't just solve one mystery, they confirm that our local cosmic bubble is unique, and everything outside it is stranger than we ever predicted. Let's circle back to that rotation. ground observations estimate 3I Atlas spins roughly once every 16 hours. For a typical comet nucleus, this rapid spin, combined with the extreme heat of the Sun, should cause dramatic fragmentation or instability. But the newly released images show an object that is mechanically robust, maintaining those straight jets and a consistent shape. The paradox is this: an object with the chemical instability of a comet is displaying the mechanical stability of something engineered. How can a material that outgasses so intensely maintain such a perfect geometric order under a rapid rotation? It suggests an internal structure, a strong, possibly metal-rich core that anchors the entire body against the centrifugal forces and solar radiation. We are looking at a composition that is simultaneously fragile enough to vent gas and tough enough to remain geometrically perfect. This is where the term structural integrity becomes central. The jets themselves are the evidence that the interior is far from a standard chaotic ice ball. It forces us to ask if this object survived its billions-year journey because it was intrinsically hardier than anything we've imagined. The release of these images intensified the internal debate within astrophysics, the schism between the traditionalists and the dissenters. The traditional view insists all these features, the chemistry, the speed, the geometry, must be explained by an exotic yet natural cometary process we simply haven't encountered before. They argue for Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is usually best. But the dissenting camp, represented by figures who are not afraid of speculation, points out that once a phenomenon requires 5 or 6 convoluted explanations, it stops being simple. The delay in the release was ultimately the traditionalists winning the first round, establishing the comet narrative as the official consensus. Yet the data itself is their greatest weakness. The debate is now public, waged in research papers and on social media, with the newly released images as the battleground. This isn't just intellectual disagreement. It's a fight for the future of astrophysics, dictating whether we continue to look for conventional explanations or open the door to genuinely alien hypotheses. The battle lines are drawn over those precise, straight lines. The integrity of scientific methodology is at stake. So, what is the ultimate consequence of this delayed release? It gave us time to move past the initial shock and understand the real existential warning 3I Atlas carries. It's not a direct threat of invasion. The object passed safely. The warning is the confirmation of cosmic nonconformity. The data shows that the elements, the ratios, and the processes that built its star system are radically different from ours. This suggests that the stable, life-nurturing conditions found in our solar system, a perfect balance of water, metals, and stability, might be a cosmic fluke. The galaxy, based on all three interstellar visitors, appears to be fundamentally built from materials that are more chemically unusual and structurally bizarre. This forces a sober self-reflection. The delay bought us time to absorb the possibility that we and our home are the exception, not the rule. It elevates our solar system from a standard planetary arrangement to a deeply precious, extremely rare sanctuary. The images confirm our unique position. This object is the universe's quiet messenger, forcing us to cherish the normalcy we once took for granted. The full meaning of the delayed NASA images is this. They confirm the fundamental differences that will now drive the next phase of research. As 3I Atlas speeds away, moving beyond the reach of Earth-based telescopes, the torch is passed to the James Webb Space Telescope.